It's an incredible feeling, an incredible moment to look around the room and see so many of our partners from the recovery treatment community, from the behavioral health community, members of the local EMS, hospitals, other healthcare organizations. It truly takes a village when we talk about treatment of those who are suffering from substance use. So having everybody here who's seen it from their angle and have contributed in so many different ways prior to the arrival of Avenues at this location is a tremendous feeling, a feeling of partnership, a feeling of community, and that's part of the celebration here today. For those of you who don't know Avenues well, I want to take a minute to tell you a little bit about who we are and, more importantly, why we chose to come to Richmond. Avenues started roughly 10 years ago with one simple idea. And that idea that sparked our first outpatient location still is true and alive in every single one of the buildings that we have today. And that is the inherent belief that everybody deserves access to treatment, quality treatment, treatment that doesn't differentiate between gender, race, or anything else, any other demographic. And as we've grown, we've changed from one facility to opening our 20th today. That feeling is alive in every building. Every community is different. And when we open a building, we open a facility, we try to meet the needs of that specific community. And the one thing that doesn't change through every facility is this philosophy that Avenues is built on. Every community is different, every individual client that comes through the door is different, and we aim to treat both. And a great treatment program really has to recognize both. So wherever Avenues goes, that's where our philosophy goes. To find ways to enable those who need treatment to find it at the highest quality, at the highest level. And at the core of what we do, if there's one thing that I would sum up what Avenues is really about, and if you walk into any of their facilities, you'll see that. It's the heartbeat of the organization, and that is, we just never give up. We just never give up. We're going to always ask how, not if. We're going to find ways to accommodate those that many others look the other way and try to find someone who's easier to treat. That's not how we roll at Avenues. We want to be able to offer treatment for everyone. We believe in what we do, and it's the heartbeat of everything that we do in every one of our facilities, and that's what we're bringing here to Richmond today. We want Richmond to recognize that what we're doing here today, together with all the partners in this room, is we're not looking to replace anyone. We are here in support. It takes an ecosystem. There's so many people that are involved in the continuum of care that's necessary to treat those who are suffering from substance use disorder. And so we stand shoulder to shoulder and side by side in this shared mission to offer as much care as we can. We're opening a 120-bed facility here that will soon be licensed for 3.7, currently licensed at 3.5. And it was never about opening 120 beds and then going out to find the people to fill those beds. What it is recognizing the needs of the community first. And that we never ever want the reason why we can't take somebody to be capacity. We are here to service the community, to integrate within the community. We're excited to be here. We look forward to servicing this great community for many, many years to come. One other very important point. Buildings, as beautiful as this one is, don't change people's lives. The people inside this building do. And we've assembled a team that I'm so proud of, who share our mission, who share our philosophy, who want the best for the patients and know that if we just do the best we can to help these patients in the hardest time of their life, everything else will work itself out. And we've seen that happen time and time again. I've been with Avenues for a number of years now, and I've seen literally how the staff in the buildings would give a limb to keep somebody sober, who there's no hours of the day or night that separate them from providing a client with access to treatment. We're so excited to bring that to the community here and share that all with you today. Applause. Come on. Before I introduce the next speaker, I want to say one more thing. Facilities like this don't happen by accident. Avenues has grown tremendously over the last 10 years to be able to open the 20th facility here today. And as I mentioned, that core philosophy never changed. It's gotten stronger. It's become more deeply embedded in who we are. But that comes from the top. And I've had the opportunity to see firsthand at Avenues that the mission is not something that we just put up on our website to gain some credibility and to make everybody feel good. But when the stakes are the highest, that's where we exercise this philosophy and this mission. And that vision started years ago with our CEO, who's with us today, Hoodie Alter. And that vision has continued to grow and been embedded in every facility that we've created. It's a tremendous honor for us to have him here. I'll introduce you all to our CEO, Hoodie Alter.
David, you're a superstar. Just putting it out there. Absolute superstar. I want to just start by thanking God, giving us life, sustenance, and bringing us to this momentous occasion. Our 20th facility, it's hard to imagine that we have 20 facilities now. I'm not really sure how this happened, but I recently had a call and some other big operators and financials, and they were like, why are you expanding now? It's the worst economy ever for this. Big, beautiful bill. It stripped the marketplace of all the subsidies. You're not going to get any commercial patients anymore. The Medicaid work requirements, it's going to be so difficult. Every Medicaid patient is going to have to recertify. And it was endless amounts of how we're downsizing, we're not doing this. And all I could think about is that 10 years ago, when we started this, they said the same thing. They told me, oh, you're some Jewish kid who wants to get into treatment. What do you know about treatment? You're not going to be able to do it. It's not a hobby. It's not going to work. And I told myself then I was doing medical equipment sales back then. And all I did was go from hospital to hospital, knocking on case managers' doors, saying, hey, I got great oxygen. And they were like, you have great substance use treatment maybe? And I'm like, yeah, I know what that is. But that's where it started. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna figure it out. And we started with this model that, 10 years ago, treatment like this was not cool. It was cool to go to Florida, to go to the beach, California, Arizona, get massages, chefs, kumbaya. That was what was cool. Medicaid treatment was basically homeless shelters with volunteers and some caseworkers. That's what it was. And we're like, nope. We're going to mix the census, commercial and Medicaid. Everybody laughed. You can't mix the census. It doesn't work. And here we are today, 10 years, 20 facilities, and the opportunity to stay focused to what is true and continue to be able to expand. We got to Virginia by accident. There was a facility in Norfolk that was shutting down. There was an operator there that was getting evicted. And it got back to us. Can you continue the facility? We took it over. 50% of the admissions are coming from Richmond to Norfolk, to our facility. Good clinical care will sell itself over and over and over again. It doesn't matter. It's nice to have your name painted on the wall. Whoever did this, great touch. But that's not what sells. And 50% of our admissions are coming from Richmond. And we're like, you know what? Let's find the building in Richmond. Found the building in Richmond, another assisted living that was shutting down, put through the conversion, the zoning, the licensure, every piece of it. And here we are today with the opportunity to open it for patients for treatment. It happens to be that the only thing that's really new is not my speech, because I've used this 20 times. But I actually, the first time, my assistant wrote it up for me, because usually I just wing it. And I think on the way out, I'm like, she hands me a paper. I'm like, this is weird. 20th time, and now you're giving me a piece of paper? And I'm like, what did I say last time that was so bad? That was like way off script that you had to hand me paper. But you know what? I appreciate the encouragement, positive encouragement, Nikki. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's nice to open the 20th building, but like David said, and I'm just going to build on it because I know this to be true. Our asset is not our building. Our asset is our staff. Our staff is the core asset of our company. The building is a nice place to sleep. And I'm not just saying it, I really actually mean this, because I know nothing about recovery. I mean, now I do, but I knew nothing about recovery. And my partner, my best friends from high school that I did this with, also knew nothing about recovery. And every single thing that we learned was from our staff. What worked in one building, we went to the next building, what detox protocol, what clinical curriculum, which intervention, what every single piece was learn from our own staff, learn from our clinicians, learn from our techs, learn from our nurses, learn from our doctors, and what worked here, what worked there, and we did from here to there, there to there, and that's how we built this. And we appreciate everybody that gave up whatever position they were in before to take a leap of faith on us. That's makes me feel good. You took a big leap, and I appreciate you coming on board, and I appreciate you giving us an opportunity to work together. And God willing, this will be a pillar of the community here in Richmond. I want to thank some of the dignitaries that came. I appreciate it. Some gave up some high-level meetings to attend, but I appreciate the senator for coming out. Kevin Carroll, Chair of the Chesterfield Board of Supervisors. This I need the paper for, okay? Heather Norton, Lou Kadiri, Jonathan Greenhill, Jennifer Patterson, Liquid Hyldon. I mean, there's a long list of people that came, and I do appreciate it. And many of you are going to be speaking and sharing some thoughts. This is my first time here in Richmond. God willing, this won't be my last time here in Richmond, but a very welcoming community. I mean, our first open house that we did 10 years ago in our first building, true story, one person attended. One. It was like 10 staff, one attendee. I think the second one we got it up to like 6, and it was like a super success. And today we have a full room. So thank you all very, very much. My very last thank you has to just go to the leadership that really took a leap of faith. And Amy, for starters, Yolanda, clinical director, Karen, clinical supervisor, Dr. Beavers, who we have another facility, who's also going to be overseeing this facility, and all the staff and everybody. And I'm sure there'll be many more to come. But it's 10 years, 1,500 employees, and I would say that around 500 of them are former alumni of the company. 500. The success stories go on, but to the level, and we don't, and you can't, and even to get a tech job by us, you have to be like at least 2 years out of the facility before you can even apply for a tech job. So that's how far up. But we hope this opportunity is good for the community, it's good for our staff, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Hoodie. So when I joined this company around 3.5 years ago, we were doing things pretty well. And since then, we've continued to expand on that. And one would think there's no reason to mess with anything that's doing so well and providing such integral treatment to so many people. But what I've always seen since the day I started at Avenues was a relentless pursuit of excellence. There was no settling for good enough. It was always about what's the next level, how do we take this up a notch? And as I introduce our next speaker, 4 months ago, we were fortunate enough to bring someone to our leadership team who has spent much of his career pursuing excellence. His background speaks for itself. I'll just run through a little bit. He's an accomplished behavioral health executive. Before joining Avenues, Eric co-founded and served as the CEO of Forge Health, Building 17 locations, that was recognized for its clinical excellence. But what has impressed me most about Eric, and Eric also, an interesting anecdote about Eric is he's been an expert witness in front of Congress twice in regard to the VA, and specifically as it pertains to substance use. But what has impressed me most about Eric since he joined Avenues isn't his resume. It's how quickly he came to understand what Avenues really is, and how he's fortified what Avenues is and how we take Avenues, maintain what Avenues is, and get it to the next level. And that's an incredible feeling to be part of something that we know is this great and has accomplished this much, and we now have another level to get to. So Eric, we're excited to have you on board. It's an honor for us to have you here today. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Freeman.
Please make sure that David writes a eulogy for me on that day, because that was fantastic. So thank you. I'm humbled to be here. So good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the entire Avenues Recovery Organization, thank you for joining us to celebrate the opening of our newest facility here in Richmond. I especially want to thank and recognize the community leaders, healthcare professionals, referral partners, and first responders, advocates, neighbors, and friends who are with us today. Your presence is meaningful because addressing addiction is not work that any organization can do alone. It requires a community, and we are grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this one. As we all know, addressing addiction is of critical importance. I know many people in this room have experiences that really bring that reality to light and really sharpen that focus, but I'd like to share mine. So my brother was a combat veteran who lost more soldiers to drug and alcohol and suicide-related deaths than he did overseas in combat. And let that sink in. That is a sobering reality, and it is not unique to veterans. Addiction touches every community, every population, and every walk of life. It does not discriminate, and that is why expanding access to compassionate, high-quality care matters so deeply. But today marks an exciting milestone, and it may be marked by ribbon cutting, but we are really celebrating is far more meaningful. The expansion of hope, healing, and opportunity for individuals and families throughout this community. This facility represents a significant investment in that mission. It's a beautiful state-of-the-art 120-bed treatment center, but its importance will never be measured simply by the size of the building or the number of beds inside it. It will be measured by the lives changed. It will be measured in families reunited, trust rebuilt, and futures reclaimed. It will be measured by the people who arrive here during some of the most difficult moments of their lives and discover that recovery is possible and that they do not have to pursue it alone. And it will be measured by the healthcare providers, community organizations, and referral partners that have a trusted resource for the people who depend on them. This is all a privilege and an enormous responsibility, and something we do not take lightly. For us at Avenues, this means a relentless commitment to cultivating strong clinical, medical, and administrative teams, maintaining the highest standards, creating safe and effective treatment environments, and holding ourselves accountable for the experience that we provide. I'm proud to say that this commitment is being carried forward by the talented and compassionate team members who we have here today who have joined Avenues Richmond. They are the ones who are turning this promise of this facility into a lived experience for our patients, their families, and this community. That's why I especially want to thank our Richmond team and everyone across Avenues who worked with such dedication to prepare this facility. Opening a treatment center of this scale requires tremendous coordination, persistence, and attention to detail. To our referral sources and community partners, we want today to be the beginning of an ongoing relationship. We welcome your questions, your feedback, and your partnership. Tell us how we can support the work you are already doing. Hold us to a high standard and work alongside us as we build a stronger care network in Richmond and throughout Virginia. And to the Richmond community, thank you for welcoming us. We understand that becoming a true community partner requires more than just opening doors. It requires showing up, listening, collaborating, and proving through our actions that we are here to make a lasting contribution. Our hope is that this facility becomes known not simply as a place where treatment is provided, but as a place where people are seen, families find hope, and new lives begin. Today, we proudly cut a ribbon. Tomorrow and every day thereafter, the real work continues. We are honored to undertake that work with all of you. Thank you again for being here, and welcome to Avenues.
Thank you, Eric. There's a vision. There's a philosophy. There's a way we do things that we spoke about today, that we carry in New Jersey, that Hoodie started 10 years ago. But there always has to be a conduit, somebody who takes that vision and actually puts it into action in each one of our buildings. That's a whole different job. Vision is the easier part. Actually making it happen, much more difficult. When we began looking for the right person to lead this building, we knew that we were looking for somebody unique. Somebody who got it, who understood what's unique about Avenues, what we want to build here, why it wasn't as simple as copy and paste from anything else that you've seen or come into contact with in treatment. It had to be uniquely Avenues. And we were lucky enough to find somebody who had that unique makeup. The executive director of this building, Dr. Amy Handley, is a psychologist by profession, by training. And her move from being a PsyD into an executive directorship is a very interesting move. But what we've seen as we've worked through the first 4 months together is that she brings a clinician's understanding of people into an operational leadership role. She understands that behind every policy, behind every admission, behind every process, life situation, there's ultimately a person whose life is being impacted by all the decisions that we make. And it's through that filter that she's begun to run this facility. Opening a facility, I don't know how many in this room have done it, it's not easy. There are hundreds of moving parts as you try to focus on building a culture, filling a building, building a team, finding the right people. It's been a joy to watch Dr. Handley pull it all together to this point. We're excited about the future with her at the helm. I'd like to introduce you all to Dr. Amy Handley.
I thought it was going to be too short, but this might be all right. I might be able to do it. Hello. From this view, this room is much more full than I even envisioned it. Thank you all for taking the journey out here for our ribbon cutting ceremony. I like that we chose to do this after we have been, this is our 7th week open. We've had 24 clients. We've had our first graduation. We have had all sorts of firsts and have been able to see this come from a plan and an empty building with an interesting choice of yellow painted all over the interior, to see the building come alive and to go from no staff to all of our staff, who are, some of them are in the building in the back, say hello. A lot of them, yes, hello. And a lot of them are not in this room. And I hate to be the one to tell you, but this is only the second most important room in this building right now. Because on the other side of this building, there are people in group right now receiving care and taking the next right step toward rebuilding a life, whatever that life looks like for them. Addiction takes and takes and takes. It can take family, jobs, but most of all, it can take hope. Hope that a life worth living is even possible. That I have tried too many times and failed too many times. That I don't fit into this perfect little box that I am supposed to. What I've learned in many years in behavioral health is that as humans, we are messy and we are complicated, and we come with our experiences. We come with our mental health struggles and trauma and substance use and physical health, and all of these things come together. So when someone walks into our system, and someone said ecosystem, that is all of us in here. Wherever they enter the system, they deserve to receive holistic care for everything that they got. And that is what our aim is here in this Richmond location. And we keep saying Richmond. I don't know if it's controversial. The address is technically Chesterfield. I live in Chesterfield. My kids go to school in Chesterfield.
Slightly controversial.
Is it slightly?
Not too much.
You have three Chesterfield supervisors here.
I know what the address is. And we are right a stone's throw away from Richmond. And we have treated folks from up north in Northern Virginia and out near the mountains. The reality is that addiction has hit everywhere, and that there is a lack of care at the level that people need when they need it. So we will happily help anybody from any part of the Commonwealth of Virginia who needs help to get it. And we do that with you. I do not want to be the Avenues facility that happens to be located because a building was for sale in Chesterfield. I want to be a true partner to each of you. So we together will help people at various points in their recovery journeys. For most of us, it is not point A to point B. It is a bumpy road, and the exit is closed, and there is a traffic accident up ahead, and we start and we stop and we get lost and get stuck in a roundabout. And we may treat some of the same individuals. But as I think David said earlier, what we will not do is give up on any singular human being who has put one foot in front of the other, made that incredibly long walk from the parking lot to our admissions office and our wonderful intake coordinator. If they are here, and maybe they need to leave and come back and try again, and maybe that happens 8 or 9 times, we will be here for them because they are alive and they are able to walk in that door again. And I know from meeting many of you in our community that you are a part of that commitment with us to provide help for those that need it. I think that's probably underneath why many of our staff work in this field, because they get it, because they are in recovery themselves, or they have seen family members struggle. But that is what ties us all together. And on to the Academy Award portion of me being up here. I do have to thank a whole bunch of people from the corporate leadership who have allowed me to take this wild journey, and to all of our staff who have shown up and worked and done things that are absolutely not their jobs because they need it done. Moving tables out of the way, getting ready for that first client, all of those things, and how they show up every day is phenomenal. I know they're not here. Clap loud enough that they can hear you in the group room. I hope I will meet each and every one of you today, and we will be doing some tours later, but I will hand it back to David for the rest of our speakers. Thank you.
We are now newly branded Avenues Recovery Center at Chesterfield. In fairness, geography is not everybody's strong point. When I first came down here, the first day that I was touring this building, and someone asked me where I'm from, and I said, I'm from New Jersey, and they said, well, I have a cousin in Michigan. And I said, no, that's not how it works. It's not close to Michigan. So we're learning Chesterfield, Richmond, but we're here for both, representatives of both, and obviously the greater region overall. As we said throughout today, our goal in coming to Richmond was never simply to build a treatment facility. We want to become part of this community. We want to be an integral force for good for the people who live in this vicinity. So it means a great deal to us to have our next speaker here today. Senator Michael Jones has spent years serving the Richmond community, first on the Richmond City Council, where he also served as council president, then the Virginia House of Delegates as and today in the Virginia State Senate representing the 15th District, which ironically includes portions of Richmond and Chesterfield. But his connection to this community goes well beyond elected office. He's a pastor, community leader, and someone whose work has consistently centered around people and communities that need a voice and an advocate. For an organization like ours, whose mission depends not only on what happens inside these walls, but on strong partnerships with the community outside of them, we're honored that he chose to be here and sharing this milestone with us. Please join me in welcoming Virginia State Senator Michael Jones.
First of all, good afternoon to everybody. Thank you, David and Hoodie and Eric and Amy for all the work that y'all do. I grew up in San Diego, California. My father was a Navy SEAL, and he lived life and worked in some very precarious places. As a SEAL that did two tours in Vietnam, they didn't have a way in which they could debrief, right? Because many of the things that they did was classified. And so like so many servicemen and women, they turned to substances to try and get through. And the one thing I remember, I'll never forget this. I came downstairs, my mother asked me, did I take a shower? I said, well, no, Dad said I didn't have to take a shower. And she asked me, was he drinking? And I said, yes, he was. She was like, boy, go take a shower. And I vividly remember those days as someone who served this country, but they struggled to deal with many of the things that they did. The one thing we knew about the ocean, as beautiful as it was a very dangerous place, because my father would say it's the one place that can take you down and take you out simply by standing there. And that's what addiction is. It's seemingly this place that people get into for whatever reason, but it has a way of taking you down and taking you out. And one thing that SEALs learn to do, they learn to go out into the deep and to bring people back. And that's what addiction recovery does. For so long, Hoodie, it was just about how much you made, what color your skin was, and what your zip code was. You know, could you fly to Palm Springs and fly to different parts of the country and get the assistance that you need? As we talk about the blend of Richmond and Chesterfield, I do serve half of Chesterfield County and parts, if not the entirety of South Richmond. The one part of SD 15, right, just one block, Carnation Road, right to about Chippenham Parkway, less than a block. It has the highest numbers of calls of service for opioid overdoses. A block, like literally, not hyperbole, a block. And again, a lot of the people that are there, they're not just all from Richmond. They are from Chesterfield County. They are from Henrico, because that is the one place that addiction finds itself. And recovery looks different out there. For some, it's, hey, we're going to build, a little area behind Motel 6 in which we can live. For some, it's living in Days Inn right there at Chippenham and Midlothian Turnpike. For some, hey, we're going to walk the street right there down the street from NBC 12. As many people walk in, and drive out, there are individuals that are literally fighting for their lives. And that's what Avenues is about for me. This isn't just politics for me. It's personal. First church I pastored in Richmond, someone wanted to come in and do Narcotics Anonymous. And it became this big thing in our church. And I was kind of embarrassed by the fact that we were arguing about whether or not we would allow this NA group that outgrew its space to use a church assembly hall. And I never will forget this. This old deacon, Deacon Hood, he stood up and said, we're at a crossroads of whether or not we're going to do the work that Jesus did or not. The one thing I never told him was that it was the granddaughter of a church member, of a trustee, of a leader of that church that actually came and asked for assistance. not knowing that her grandfather and his friends were the ones that were the obstructionists. Oh, they're gonna come in and cuss and they're gonna be smoking. I'm like, well, damn, that sounds like a church meeting to me. So why not let them in? Why close doors? Why close opportunities for individuals to just simply come, smoke a cigarette, express their emotions, and find a community of people that have shared experiences that they have and can give them the encouragement to fight. It is time for the capital city region of our beautiful Commonwealth to have options for quality, affordable, and accessible addiction treatment. And I'm glad that we're here in Chesterfield to make that happen. And we'll claim it as Richmond Metro. We'll claim it as the metropolitan statistical area, whatever we have to do. But the reality is this: addiction doesn't know borders. Addiction doesn't know city or county limits. And so it's time that recovery does the same thing. So thank you, Avenues, for the work that y'all are doing. I appreciate all that Michelle did.
Thank you, Senator. Inspiring words. Our next guest and final speaker today is someone whose connection to Chesterfield County goes back decades, and someone who served this community from several very different vantage points. Before entering elected office, Kevin Carroll spent more than 30 years serving Chesterfield County as a police officer, working his way through a career that included major crimes investigations and numerous leadership roles within the department. And that's meaningful, knowing how often we work with law enforcement and our shared mission to help these people from different angles. Today, he continues that commitment to public service as the representative of the Chesterfield County Board of Supervisors, where he currently serves as the vice chair. For us, having him here today is particularly meaningful. Thank you for being here. When Avenues made the decision to come to Chesterfield, we weren't simply choosing a location for our facility. We were choosing, as we've done so many times before, a community that we hoped would become our home. And from the beginning, we wanted to be more than just a business that happens to operate within Chesterfield County. We want to be a good neighbor, a community partner, an employer for those who reside here, and an organization that Chesterfield can be proud to have here. Mr. Carroll spent much of his life serving this county and the people who call it home. So we're especially grateful that he's here to welcome Avenues as we begin our own chapter in this community. Please join me in welcoming the Vice Chair of the Chesterfield County Board of Supervisors, Kevin Carroll.
Good afternoon. Really? Gotta follow him? Really? It's not right. It's not fair. Thank you for that kind introduction. Yeah, you gotta put these on, sorry. I also want to welcome with me today our Bermuda District Supervisor, Mr. Engel, and our Clover Hill District Supervisor, Jessica Schneider. We appreciate them being here. Dr. Miller was traveling for another important issue that he's represented the county on today, and Dr. Hilton is actually representing us at another location in the county for another big event that's going on, so they both wanted to be here. But there's been a lot said today, especially about the most important part about a building, which is the people that are in it. Both the people who are getting treatment and both the people who are given treatment. And I realize that from a personal note. My former brother-in-law passed away from addiction after fighting it for over 10 years. There used to be a center here in Chesterfield County down the street off of Providence Road that he attended, and then it closed. And we lost something very important, I think, for the people of Chesterfield County. And we like to joke a little bit about Chesterfield because we even gave Lego a hard time when they came here because they said they were in Richmond. Like, no, you're in Chesterfield County. Because we're very proud of certainly our community, but we're really proud that you're going to be here. Because we are the most populous county in Central Virginia with over 400,000 people. And there is probably not a single family that I can think of in Central Virginia that probably hasn't been touched by addiction. I think probably everybody in here, you can talk to them and say, well, my cousin had this, or my sister had that, or my brother had this. Especially what's happened with opioid addiction across the United States of America. So we, as a board, are extremely grateful that you chose to come here, that you are going to provide a tremendous service to our people. This is the kind of business you actually hope goes out of business, because that means you don't have any customers, right? Unfortunately, we know that's not going to happen. I wish it was. I don't mean you in a bad way. I mean in a good way, because truthfully, I think that everybody's wish would be that no one would struggle with this, and that everybody could be have a great place to live, work, and play, and raise a family, which is what we strive to do here in Chesterfield County. And so hopefully you'll be able to help those who are struggling here to get back on track and be able to do exactly that, to be able to live, work, and play here in Chesterfield and raise a great family. But so thank you. So on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, again, very grateful you're investing here in Chesterfield County. But as the senator did say, this in Central Virginia, we know that of the 9 jurisdictions here, probably over 1.6, 1.7 million people living within the Central Virginia will absolutely benefit by the services you're going to be able to provide. And so thank you again. We wish you all the best success, and never fail to reach out if there's anything that any of us can do to help you in any way, shape, or form with that success. So thank you very much for allowing us to be here today, and glad we're done. Now I get you get something else to do, right? Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to call up all of the staff of Avenues Recovery who are in the building today to join us for the ribbon cutting. If you can come up from the back of the room, please join us here in the front for this special moment. Let's move this.
Everybody in. Gotta get closer to the guy, closer to the ribbon. Everyone hold the ribbon. Everyone hold the ribbon. Everyone hold the ribbon. There you go. All right, everyone. All right. Behind the back. All right, ready? All right. Go for it. 3, 2, 1. Cut.
Buddy, give me.
Yeah. 1 second. Let me just.